guys, welcome to the special edition of Sundays with Samma. I know it's been a while since I have posted a video. Just some crazy stuff going on over here, but I'm really excited because it is December 31st, 2015, which means at New Year's Eve. Hopefully you all have someone special to spend it with or some fun plans for tonight. I am really excited to share with you the 100 books that I read this year. They are going to be found on the blog, a page to turn.wordpress.com. But I wanted to share some of the highlights of the year. I did do some math. 42% of the books that I read this year are smutty. But I want to talk about that because there's good smut and that there's not so good smut, right? Like not so good smut really features verbal language that's a little bit abusive, no consent, et cetera, or like poor play options. There was one series that featured someone getting down with some citronella candle wax, which I didn't quite understand. So I'll talk about those. I will talk about a series that I really, really liked. And then I think it is, 17% of the books that I read this year were young adult. And there were some really sweet novels in the books that I read. So I have my list of some notes of the books that I read this year, some of which are just denoted as they are on the blog with a little asterisk letting me know that they're extra special to me. The first of the year was The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh. Loved this book. I found not only the character development, but she was fantastic, but she really stayed true to the basis of the novel, which is explaining how you are, how you feel to someone through flowers. Which is a Victorian type of, what's the word I'm looking for? A Victorian, something that happened in Victorian days. So there we have it. Next, so Gillian Flynn, I read a lot of her this year. Obviously, Gone Girl, I had read last year, but on this list are Dark Places, and not denoted as Sharp Objects, and there's a reason for that. Not that one is better than the other. I kind of chose Dark Places kind of absentmindedly, and not because Dark Places is better than Sharp Objects. It's just that they're the same book. I really do find that Gillian Flynn has this genre and she likes keeping within it, but I didn't find anything really necessarily special. They're both good. They are good reads. The plot is good. If you liked Gone Girl, you will like Sharp Objects or Dark Places. It's the same kind of book though, so you know that there's going to be that twist in the plot or some kind of fucked up character development or just something that happens that's like catastrophic. It's the same plot, tried and true. And what else do I have? The Giver. So I had never read The Giver ever. I think I was supposed to read it for school. I don't know how I got around it. But I read it this year and it was really great. And what I liked about reading it is, especially with like the Hunger Games and Divergent series, it really gives you the background of like where these kind of worlds come from, right? Like the dystopian youth genre. And that happened, like that's the history of those books, right? Is right there. That was the main concept. And I think that other authors, while they have created their own series on their own, this is kind of their root. So it was really great reading that. Highly recommend it. Beautiful You by Chuck Palahniuk, right? So, okay, this one's kind of funny because I did find the book to be a little bit scandalous. I think scandalous is the right term. The concept of the book is that there's this, sex toy that pretty much changes the psyche of women all across the world. And it's Chuck Palahniuk, right? So he wrote Fight Club, Survivor, Invisible Monsters, etc. And there's always Choke, which is one of my favorites. And there's always, it's kind of like Gillian Flynn, right? Where you know what you're getting. I do feel like for some reason Chuck Palahniuk, some of his other books, Doomed, Haunted, never really gave me the Chuck Palahniuk that I read years ago. There's always like a disappointment. And I feel like this book was getting back there. I don't know if it's totally back there, but it was enough that it kept me interested. I did think it was a good read. It is on this list. Um, oh, Mockingbird by Catherine Erskine. Read this sweet, sweet, sweet book, please. It is about an autistic girl who's dealing with the loss of her brother and kind of her interactions with her family and the outside world. And it was, I books, a lot of these books are like books that I'm still thinking about or like stayed with me for a while. And this was one um, I really thought was done well and with integrity. So there's that. The Martian, right? Okay, so I actually read The Martian by Andy Weir because of a book club that I'm sometimes a part of. And a friend of mine got me into the book club and was like, this is the book, gave it to me. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? I am not this science fiction kind of reader. I don't want to read this book. And then I was like, no, Samantha, challenge yourself. Read this book. So I did. And it was fantastic. I was really excited to see the movie because I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this. Like, I don't know how they're going to, for 2 hours, have one character have all the lines, etc., like without being boring. And they did a great job. The book was fantastic. And I really loved the main character. And I couldn't stop reading it. I devoured it in about a day. So that's definitely on the list. If you've seen the movie, still read the book. It's still very, very good. Okay, My Sister's Grave. That was actually recommended to me by my husband. I am not a mystery reader. He read it. He really liked it. I read it and I couldn't put it down. I devoured it. I think the plot is airtight. I wasn't kind of, like 150 pages in and like, oh, this is who did it and was right. I couldn't figure it out. So I liked it. I thought it was good. And maybe I'm just stupid and you can figure it out quicker than I can. But I liked it. I thought it was a good mystery novel, especially since I don't really read mysteries. I thought it was good. The Girl on the Train. So The Girl on the Train has also gotten a lot of acclaim this year as being one of like the up and up novels. And I'm talking about The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins because I know that there is another Girl on the Train. I read some article about it the other day. Again, a mystery, right? So these are like my top two mysteries of the year. I thought it was good. It definitely it had me hooked. So it's a mystery book. It was good. It was one of the top of the year, I would say, for me. YA book, Paperweight by Meg Haston. I loved this book. Definitely trigger warning. It's a girl dealing with severe anorexia and the loss of a family member. And I am still thinking about it. It was one of those haunting books where you see a character who just doesn't see a way out, and you do because you're living life and you're an adult or what have you. And this was one of those books. It was a hard read, but it was a very good read. So I definitely recommend that. Oh, Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. So I've read a lot of John Green this year. The Abundances of Catherine's, Looking for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars I read last year. So I was really excited about him or reading this book. And the reason why it really made the list is because one thing I loved about this book is the fact that there is a gay character, and it's not like insert gay character here, like token gay character. It was a huge part of the plot. There are two actually gay characters that are part of the main characters in the story, and I thought it was well executed and well done. And it's also, I think, coming from a period of time where gay characters would be, salacious or scandalous, etc. And maybe when I was growing up, it was, a huge deal to have an LGBT group in high school. So I guess that ages me, what have you. Whereas now it's like part of the day-to-day norm of clubs in high school, which I think is fantastic, clubs in college. But for me growing up, it wasn't. And so seeing a main character with no explanation is one of the main characters and is a really, like, not stereotypically your stereotypical token gay character. Or, my friends and I talk about this all the time, like the stereotypical token Black character in like 90s high school movies, things of that nature. It was really, really good. The story was sweet. It was a good story. It's on the list. The Color Purple. So I had never read The Color Purple. I'd never seen the movie. I'd never seen the play. And my husband surprised me with tickets to go see Jennifer Hudson in The Color Purple a couple of months ago. And actually, like last month. And he had been saying for the past year, well, if we're going to go see this Broadway show, you need to read, like, you need to see the movie. And of course, for me, I am a book girl. So I was like, no, I need to read the book. So actually, within a span of a week, I read the book, saw the movie, and saw the play. And the book, the book, hands down. I think the book explains a lot more than the movie and the show ever will. But the book, phenomenal. It's classic. It's amazing. Read it. It's good, especially because it speaks so much truth even today in 2015. Um, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This was one that I just recently read and fell in love with. It is sad. It is hard. But it is so good, about a girl who commits suicide, and there are 13 reasons why. And as the main character unfolds the 13 reasons as to why she committed suicide, I think it's a really good reminder that we are people in this world, and what we do affect other people. And when we say things, it affects other people just as much as when we don't say things and when we're bystanders. So I think it's a really good young adult book. Coming to the end of the list, At the Water's Edge by Sarah Gruen. Loved this book. Her prose is on point. It's just as good as Water for Elephants. Water for Elephants. Amazing. If you've read any of her books, you know to expect nothing but great. So, and it was. What We Saw by Erin Hartzler. I know that I posted about this, but this is possibly, I would say, top 3 YA books that I read this year. Again, kind of talking about what happens in a high school about, when you stand up for something and when you don't, and how not saying something can be just as devastating as saying something. Very amazing YA book. Definitely triggers. This is definitely more of an adult YA book. I wouldn't recommend giving it to your 8-year-old, but your 15-year-old, I would. Okay, so the last 3 on this list are actually the 3 that I was reading for this week. So Mosquito Land, All the Bright Places, Everything, Everything, David Arnold, Jennifer Niven, Nicola Yoon. So good, sweet, YA, all of them. I know I've said sweet a bunch of times. And I want to wrap this up because I realize that it's been over 10 minutes. But yeah, Mosquito Land was this story about a girl with potentially some mental disorder, and you spend the entire book wondering if it's surreal in her imagination or if this is her life. And I'm not going to ruin the ending for you of what it really is, but it was, I would say, like a combination of like a choose your own adventure book with a little bit of perks of being a wallflower. All the Bright Places, I think, again, perks of being a wallflower-ish. And just, people, youth, adolescent struggle of finding themselves and being themselves and having it be okay to be sad sometimes, or kind of hard, have things be hard and have that be okay. And everything was a little bit unexpected in that it's a book about a girl with a disorder where she can't leave the house. So kind of like the Bubble Boy, she can't leave the house, and kind of how she lives her life and is perfectly fine living her life until a special person enters her life, and she realizes that she wants more than she has. And it was, as much as it was sweet, it was heartbreaking and fantastic. I'm still thinking about it, and I finished it 2 days ago, so that says something. I can let you know in a couple months if I'm still thinking about it. But that's it. So those are my top books of the year. I'm really excited. I set this challenge up for myself probably in the first month of January. It wasn't even like it was like a New Year's resolution. It wasn't. It was just, I was reading and I started keeping track of them. And then I was like, oh, I wonder if I could get to 100. And I did. It's been really hard not reading today. I didn't want to read today because I was like, oh, but then would it be like 101 books, or would I just put on next year's? So instead I watched the movie Paper Towns. That's me. These are the books of the year. I hope you enjoy them. Take a look at the other books that I've read. And if you have a question at all, always feel free to message me at pagetoturn@gmail.com or comment on the blog. I hope you guys have a happy and healthy new year, and keep reading. Talk to you soon. Bye.